In this current moment, are you happy? Someone right now watching this, they want to earn money. How should they earn money?
I don't recommend that anybody start to make money.
5 most important traits for someone to be successful.
So next time you're in that scenario, risk the rejection. Be in the uncomfortable, but that's when you're alive. What is it like wearing a hijab every day?
How was it working for Kanye West?
That was very mind-opening.
If you had to pick one YouTuber who you feel like would become a billionaire, is your dad in the Matrix?
I would rather take the risk and fail than live a comfortable life. I'm kind of glad that I got banned in a way.
You still talk to Jimmy, Mr. Beast?
Of course, yeah. I mean, we still follow each other and stuff like that.
All right, how do you make more money?
Don't tell everybody that, though. I don't want to be a ton of copywriters out there.
It's gonna be in the video.
Too bad. Yeah.
Welcome back to the show, and thank you for returning back to this channel, the podcast where we discuss business, happiness, advice, discipline, personal finance, motivation. Today's guest is the one and only Sneako.
Hey, it's good to be back. Thank you.
Thank you for coming on again, man.
I hope your audience is not tired of me.
No, man, they still have too much they can learn from you, Sneako.
Amr was I'm like, I thought we covered it with Myron, but he's like, I have all these questions I want to ask you and wanted to do a one-on-one. So
yeah, this time we're going deep, guys. So
okay.
I have some really deep questions for you.
You don't want to talk about feminism for 2 hours?
No, we did that.
We can talk about why women deserve less. No,
we covered that last episode. But anyway, this time it's gonna be a deep one, going back into your journey growing up, you know, the ups, the downs, the whole journey. So basically, today we'll be having him alone, diving very deep into his story, some ups and downs which are not perhaps so well known, as well as we'll be looking to extract as much advice and practical tips on how we can improve our lives and make money. Based on your experience and your general thoughts from meeting and working with many successful people such as Kanye West, Mr. Beast, Sneako, the ex-YouTuber who is now banned on YouTube and Twitch and TikTok, but now Rumbler has gained over 1 million subscribers on YouTube before he got banned, and he runs a self-help and personal development course. Before we look into your story, I want to ask you one question, and I want you to be upfront, 100% honest. In this current moment, are you happy?
Yes. I don't allow myself to be anything else but happy. You have to be happy. You have to always, and even if you might have moments where you're off, you have to always believe that there's work to be done so that you could be your happiest. If I've been depressed before, I believed I was depressed before, and that's when my life was going down the wrong path. But I believe in my bigger purpose now, and I really see how powerful it is to push away negative thoughts. Yeah. You can't allow negativity to enter your mind, and that's how you go down a spiral. Like, I couldn't sleep last night because of the jet lag. Dubai is a 14-hour flight, a big time difference, and I couldn't sleep, and so I started like scrolling, and then I started getting those moments where the moments that I had a lot when I was depressed or when I was in a state of depression, which is just believing that you're sad every single day. You know, I'm sad, I'm scrolling, like, I'm lazy, just lazy. Because I was like, let me get up and go to the gym early, you know, everybody else is sleeping, let me go to the gym. But I was like, this is lazy, just look at you lazy pieces. Why am I thinking that? I'm not a lazy piece. I'm going to get up and go right now. I'm not going to scroll anymore, like, I don't allow myself to think those thoughts anymore, because it becomes your reality. It's going to show in every single way you act in real life, and I don't want it to be that way anymore.
Amazing.
That's not the way to live. It's extremely powerful to have only positive thoughts. Just now when you ended the call with Mo, you said like, oh, appreciate that, love. And like, I noticed one thing about Dubai is everybody starts to sense, like, you always say like, oh, brother, it's good to see you, man.
Or Habibi.
Yeah, Habibi. Like, words like that, they have power. They make just little things like that. I've been really paying attention to how much of an effect that has on the way you treat people and also what you think. Like, just starting off by saying, brother, like, you're more inclined to do something right and to go out of your way and to do it correctly, because they're showing appreciation for who you are, and they're showing that like, we're in this together. You're my brother. Small things like that. It's really proof that words are hypnosis. And the coffee's here.
Coffee's here.
Definitely need. Been doing a lot of podcasts. Dubai's been, but we're gonna extend, man. I really like it here. I really like being around the Muslim culture.
So you built a lot of your, you can say, empire or your wealth from having your personal brand. I wanted to ask you, do you think that's a viable option for someone out there today who's, let's say, watching this video, wants to make money? Do you think he should just pick up the camera and start recording? Is that like something, like a go-to advice you would say, viable option?
I think I have an entertainer. That's part of my personality. It's part of what I want to do. And the businesses and everything else comes secondary to that. I'm building a lot of that now. And ideally, I didn't even want to do that, but it's just, that's what's necessary for your future.
To monetize.
Yeah. And I find enjoyment of it, in it. But I would say it's bigger than just turning on a camera and going, because then you can, if you have no purpose, if you have no meaning, you're just there doing, you're going to end up like 6ix9ine.
Yeah.
And which is nothing wrong with him. He's a funny guy. I'm sure I'm going to meet him soon. So I'm not trying to speak ill on his name, but if you are only looking for attention, camera, go. I've seen people like pour milk on themselves in Walmart. They get up like, look at me. And that's when it just, a lot of people in this generation, they think that attention equals good, because everything, how we monetize everything and how much we're online. If there's engagement, then it's good. And that's just not the case, because you will face consequences for those actions, and people are getting tired of the gimmicks and it doesn't last. So I would say have something else in your life as well. You have to be interesting outside of just the camera. You need to have curiosities, passions, and then that will all culminate into what you talk about on the camera.
Makes sense. Now, if someone's watching this out there and let's say YouTube is not for them, you know, they're camera shy, or let's say they are camera shy. In the beginning, were you camera shy, or were you never?
I didn't even turn the camera on until like 50 videos in. It was just me talking to a mic and then playing Call of Duty, like gaming videos on the screen. And then I did a face cam, like face reveal. I did a face reveal, yeah. And that was a big deal. Like, hey guys, this is me.
It's very scary to put your face out there and like, you know.
Yeah, I started very young. I was 14, but I think most people, if you're more grown, it's not that big of a deal. By then, everybody knows your face because of Instagram and other social media platforms.
Were you filming at that time because you wanted to make money, or just because you enjoyed it, or like were you just really ambitious, just wanted to get rich?
No, I just enjoyed it. We talked last time about how it's more important to create more than you consume, especially with social media. And I was watching it all day, and I figured like I can do this. Like I'm learning from this. I'm not just going to be a product of this
machine.
Yeah, I want to contribute to it. I want to become good at it, and also just it was really fun. And I like the idea of being able to connect with people on. Now it's so normal. It was kind of weird back then. It was different. It was like this, like, oh, you open up your laptop and there's a guy talking. It was strange, and I thought that was really interesting to be able to go connect with people on the internet. And I thought that there was longevity there, and I loved doing it. It wasn't about money for the longest time.
Yeah, that makes sense. So what if someone like, because obviously when you put your face out there, you get a lot of, if you're in school, I'm sure a lot of people made fun of you. They must have said like, you're cringe. Yeah. What are you doing? You look like, why are you recording? So who do you think you are?
Did you have a channel? How do you know all this? Did you have a channel early on?
Yeah. So I made my first vlog when I was like 13.
Oh yeah. So they called you cringe. They made fun of you. I kept it secret from my friends. I didn't really tell anybody. Okay. And then
they used to call me the vlogger. Hey, that's the vlogger kid.
Yeah.
You know, and you know the crazy thing is, you always look stupid until you become famous. Like
until you become successful.
Yeah. Until then, it's like nobody's like, you're just embarrassing yourself and nobody's watching it. Like you look embarrassing.
You
online.
look stupid to nobody. And then it's just your friends call you stupid, and then it's worse. So I kept it secret for a long time. I only told my brother. My brother went back and forth. He would critique my videos. He gave me a lot of input. And like before,
younger brother or older brother?
A younger brother. He's Vincent. He's 22. I would show him videos, and then he would tell me if it was cringe before I posted it. I trusted his opinion a lot. I remember when kids in my class first found out about it, and that was pretty nerve-wracking. But then, actually, they of course they made fun of me, but then some of them they started watching the videos and they would like it.
Yeah.
And that was like the coolest thing to like make a video. And then I kind of started, that actually helped me get over that first hurdle when I was making videos that I knew my friends were gonna laugh at. And that made it so much more genuine, because it wasn't for random people on the internet. Like the sense of humor was based around the sense of humor I had with my friends. And I made this video called The 5 Types of High School Teachers. And I was just making fun of our professors and doing voices is like, do your homework. You can't go outside. And then I remember them watching it and they're like, that was fun. I know who that is. I pretended like it was just generic teacher, but I was just doing the exact voice of my English teacher. So it was really funny and relatable to the people watching the video, but also the reason it was that personalized was because it was based on real world experience. So that's why you can't just turn on the camera and go. It has to be based off of something real. If it's not based in truth, then it's not funny.
All right. That's interesting though, because I can only imagine the feeling, but it's interesting to hear you explain it. I wanted to ask you, you said that for some people, maybe YouTube might not be for them. Someone right now watching this, they want to earn money. How should they earn money?
Well, I don't know what you're good at.
Right.
It's you have to answer that question differently for everybody. One thing I disagree with Andrew and Tristan a lot is like for a hustler mindset, you kind of have to put that to the side and just make money by any means necessary. But I think that's when you start doing hedonistic activities. And I don't recommend that anybody start to make money in something that they are not proud of, because then I think you're going to end up regretting it later on. And I don't think I was speaking about that with you. Who was it? I was speaking with Tam Khan, and he was saying that...
Good guy.
Yeah, great guy. And he told me something driving back from the gym. He said that when you commit haram, it always comes back. Like that's how Muslims view karma in that way. So if haram activities always come back. So if you start making money by any means, like drug dealers, for example, they have this ruthless hustler mindset. I don't care. I'm going to sell crack. People are going to get high. I don't care what community I affect. The government's already responsible for this. The fentanyl's already in the border. I'm just going to make money by any means necessary. And then you know what happens? They get shot or they go to jail, and you know somebody robs them.
9 times ends badly
because they're around a lot of negative energy. They're around this negative lifestyle, so they will make money, but they always face consequences for it. So I would say for anybody watching, what are you good at? And a lot of people don't even know what they're good at. A lot of people play Fortnite all day, like the young kids watching, they'll play video games. I think you need to reflect. A lot of people don't spend time reflecting because we live in this fast world, and you're always like looking for I notice this with people who are like 20, 21. Salim from Nelk Boys, for example, I noticed this trait about him. Like whenever there's like an uncomfortable moment, he goes like, I'm gonna go live. Like why? Like
he goes live on Instagram.
Yeah, he recently started a podcast, and then he went like, oh, I'm gonna go live right now, and it's a defense mechanism, because instead of like sitting in the uncomfort, instead of feeling the uncomfort, like
the thoughts,
which you should, it's just like social media will distract it. I'll get the positive affirmation from people in the chat, and I can avoid this moment right now. Or you'll notice them, you just even smaller, like back in school when you're standing in a circle, something like that, or like
in traffic.
And not really in traffic, like when someone brings the girls around, I know, and then immediately like, yo, where are the girls at? And they bring the girls, and then they're here, and then they don't want to face it. So next time you're in that scenario, the girls are there. Risk the rejection. Be in the uncomfortable, but that's when you're alive. When you have to risk it, that's when you're in the ring, in the arena, because like so you can get made fun of. You don't know what's going to happen. Yeah. Like you could risk rejection. People are going to make fun of you, and that's good because you will build from that. You're not going to build if you don't face that. So for people who don't know what they're good at, take time to reflect and be uncomfortable. Think of, like, actually analyze what is going on in your life. And I think a lot of people don't go like on walks, for example, without any noise. I don't think that people try to go drive alone. I don't think people in our generation are alone with their thoughts enough. And you don't necessarily have to meditate completely. I think you can go just be by yourself and then analyze your life. Think really hard about like what you're good at and what you're not good at, and then start creating something that you enjoy doing. That's what worked for me. I loved making content for the longest time, so I wanted to make my whole life around that. And I knew I wasn't going to get tired of it because that's what I love doing. And I don't think you're going to crash out. I don't think that you're going to face any like real sorts of negative repercussions if you're doing something that you love and that is positive.
Yeah. What's the 5 most important traits for someone to be successful, in your opinion? Narrow it down. 5
most important traits to be successful. I think you need to be a little bit selfish. I think you need to be
hot take.
selfish / self-involved, and a little bit. And number 2 could be crazy. And normal people will think you're crazy. and this is my experience, like when you are obsessed with an idea, when you are obsessed with becoming, like when I dropped out of school, people didn't think I was sane. People thought that this was a crazy thing to do. And you also have to be a little bit delusional, which is the third one, because you need to believe in yourself so much.
Optimistic.
That it doesn't even matter, like when other people are like no, and maybe a lot of becoming successful is delusional because most people won't do it.
True.
And so you need to get over that hurdle to get out of the normalcy mindset of what everybody else is doing and be a little bit insane to get to that point. So delusional, insane. Fourth one is you also need to be practical at the same time, because if you don't have a clear plan, if you don't have the skill set, and if you aren't capable of doing it, if you aren't mentally ready, physically ready, if you aren't sleeping at the right time, if you're not clear in your
judgment,
then it's unrealistic. So people are going to think you're delusional. People are going to think you're crazy, and you need to be obsessed with it like an obsessed artist that cuts off his ear like Vincent Van Gogh. But you also need to have like a vision of the painting that's going to make you cut your ear off. Like if a crazy artist only does it because he's so obsessed about the
like
final
number 4 is
result.
like to be a visionary. Or to be practical.
It's visionary. But you need to see what it looks like in your head, and a lot of people are not going to be able to understand it until you show the results.
Yeah.
Just like we talked about earlier, people think it's cringe until you show, like, look how much money I'm making. Like people will say dropping out of college is stupid until I'm making more money than my professor.
Yeah.
And then they're like, well, there you did. You did it.
I think the word cringe itself is just basically just means different. If you analyze the actual just word, it just means different. And if you want to have different outcomes than 99%, then you have to act differently than 99%. So I think that's definitely,
because if you're gonna act like normal people, this is why it's considered crazy. Because if you act like 99%,
people want to rub shoulders with everyone and act normal, and go to the parties with everyone, and they're gonna be end up not being
success
normal.
is not normal.
What's number
Success
5?
is extraordinary. Number 5 is being consistent. Consistency is one of the most important parts, and that comes with having a good work ethic. And I think everything else that I said falls into that. But most people they'll tick all the other boxes. They'll be obsessed with an idea. They know what it's going to look like. They have a vision, good plan, but then they give up.
Yeah.
They give up and then they go back because the temptations of, like, one of the biggest attractors of being a man is simple pleasures. A guy will have all these things lined up,
Comfort.
and then a 6 will show up. And like, you're going to really throw away your whole dreams and aspirations for a 6, and it happens more often than you would even imagine. Or simple dope, like watching the game, like drinking a beer
Netflix.
at the end of work, and then you get slow, and then you make an excuse, and then like, well, I worked all day and now I'm tired, so I'm gonna drink a beer, and then it becomes a routine, and then you lose the
I think
consistency.
that's comfort. Yeah.
Yeah, the comfort
It's a
zone.
drug.
The comfort zone is a giant trap. So if you're not consistent with your delusional, practical goal, then you're gonna fall into that comfort trap, man. And that place, that I think you should be scared of that. I think you should. This is I made a lot of videos about this when I was 14. Like, my biggest fear, I always said, was being normal. My biggest fear was giving up on my dreams, and my biggest fear was living with regret. Looking back at my life, looking back at my past, and thinking like, man, I really could have done this. I could have done that a certain way. I should have done this. I don't want to live in should have. I don't want to look at my past and regret. I don't want to look at my past and be like, oh, if only I worked harder. If only I took that step. I would rather take the risk and fail than live a comfortable life for 50 years.
Yeah, facts. So let's say, it's interesting that you said crazy, actually, because these are like out of the 5 most like cliche traits to be successful. Yours were quite interesting, especially the one that says crazy. There's a quote from Steve Jobs, actually, where he says, the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones that do. And he even says those exact words. So
it takes a crazy person to step out of the normalcy. That's the definition of crazy, is somebody who's acting out of the ordinary. So everybody could be driving one way on the highway, and everyone that's fine. But until there's a car accident, that's when everybody turns their head and everybody's looking to see, because it's out of the ordinary and it's different. And there's something there, and people are interested in that. Nobody cares about the car. It's just routine. Same thing. Okay, blah. But someone switched up, man. Someone was trying to get to work in a different way. Somebody was trying to go and drive a supercar through the road. Yeah. It's a crazy person that will
stand out.
They'll stand out, yeah.
Yeah. By the way, guys, shout out to the studio operator. Her name is Fatima.
Oh, that was the perfect time to ask you the question.
Can I ask you?
if you're not too shy.
What
So,
questions would you like to ask?
what is it like wearing a hijab every day?
I feel like in every aspect and in every regard, it's truly and purposely representing my religion. At first, it was tough and it was hard and it was strange to be different from people in that moment because
course.
you're wearing the scarf and others around you aren't, and they're getting to show their hair, and you know they get attention in different ways. But
Do you crave that type of attention still?
yes, here and there.
How do you scratch that itch?
I just remind myself that I'm doing it for the good purpose.
Are you forced to wear the hijab or do you wear it because you want to?
I'm not forced to wear it. I wear it because I want to, but naturally there are so many that are forced. There's been so many people who've worn it and have felt forced, and then they have to go behind their parents' back and take it off.
What do you think about girls that show their hair?
Honestly, I feel like, for example, Muslim girls who show their hair, I think when they are prepared and when they are ready is when they should wear it. I don't think they should put it on when they're not ready, because when they aren't ready, then they're not doing it for the sole purpose of pleasing the person who's up there, but for pleasing their parents or the people around them.
What about like the woke girls who don't, even if they're not Muslim, just girls who go around in bikinis, showing their bodies, altering their faces, getting BBL? What do you think of that sort of culture?
In regards to the hijab, like wearing the scarf, you mean?
Not specifically, but I mean, you live your life very differently than a lot of girls that I'm around.
Mm-hmm.
The girls that I'm around in Miami and New York and LA, they're it's actually funny because you wear a hijab and you're trying to block yourself from that type of attention.
Mm-hmm.
That type of attention is their entire life.
Mm-hmm.
So
They live off it.
that's what drives them. Literally they breathe male attention. They need to be seen all the time. What do you think about those types of women?
Well, I think that can go both ways for men and women. Just because it's in human nature to crave attention, but it's sad when people go out of their way to crave it, you know? Like
They try too hard.
yeah, they try too hard. Like you can you don't have to wear the scarf, but you can be modest in other ways. You know what I mean? But us wearing the scarf shows that we're modest in all ways.
It's nice to have you talk about it, you know, because there's a lot of men talking about it online and, you know, like girls who don't wear the hijab talking about it. So it's nice to have someone who wears the hijab giving her actual thoughts about it.
Yeah.
Do you have any final questions for her?
Why not a burqa?
Sorry?
Why don't you wear a burqa?
Yeah, the burqa is the
That covers your face.
Yeah.
you don't need to, by the way, in Islam, wear that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I solely don't wear it because it's annoying. It's
Yeah.
very annoying.
Probably gets really hot.
It gets so, first of all, wearing the hijab itself gets hot because we have to cover everywhere. So being covered always, you're in situations, for example, living in the UAE where you're always hot. So to
That's
put
very
on
true.
to put on another thing that's going to cover my face fully, and we don't have to wear it in our religion. If we did, then I would be wearing one, definitely.
I have one more question.
Sure.
Would you be able to be married to a man that wants 4 wives? Genuine question. I really wanted to ask this.
It's not for me, no. I wouldn't marry someone who's married to 4 wives because would you marry someone
Who
who's...
had more husbands.
Well, that's haram.
That's haram, yes.
But,
Right.
but it's her choice in Islam. It's her choice.
It's
if she wants to.
in Islam, it's my choice if I want to get married to someone who wants 4 wives or not, or more than 1 wife.
Why not?
I want the attention all to myself.
So what about 3 wives? And you're the first one. The other 2, they're like a little less. Well, no, they have to be equally important.
I mean, in Islam, this rule came about to be because of the men who went out to war and were dying, and they needed, you know, 1 man wasn't equivalent to 1 woman. It was 1 man equivalent to many women because of the men that were dying in war. So now that we don't have that issue, not all of our men are going to war. My personal preference would be not to have more than 1 wife for my man because I want him to have all his focus on me.
So what
And
happens?
my children, for example.
What happens if you have kids, and then he comes to you and he says, "I want to add another wife to the family"?
The fact that he's already asking is enough of an answer. So if he's asking to have another wife, then in that moment, I'll have to talk it out with him and see what we'll do, depending whether or not we have children or we've already planned for future things. But I don't think I would stay in it. Honestly, I don't think I would.
Is divorce halal?
Yes.
Divorce is halal, yes.
Oh.
And it's very easy. It's not like for you guys. For them, they just have to say talaq, 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 and
They say the word divorce 3 times, and they're
That's it?
Islamically. That's why it's very dangerous in Islam when you're upset with your spouse to not say it 3 times by accident, because that will literally
Wow.
mean you're divorced.
That's how powerful words are. That's what we just started off this conversation. But I grew up when kids would go into the mirror and say Bloody Mary 5 times because they were like trying to summon the devil for fun.
and you realize like this kind of messed up.
It's messed up that people do it just for entertainment. But look how important it is to not say those words
Yeah.
in Islam.
The words mean a lot.
When you get divorced, you have to give 50 half, and you go to a court case in Islam. There's nothing like this.
It's really that easy? Just 3 words and you're done?
It's really that easy.
And there's like split this two ways, so they don't get half, but there's like ways depending on certain circumstances, but it's already fixed in advance. So it's not like something like you have to like go to a court case and like a long
Yeah,
headache.
we don't go about it legally. We just
Yeah.
go by the religion.
Yeah, we have a law, Sharia law, you know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fair way that most people know about before getting into a marriage in the first place.
Everyone knows about it before, yeah.
What do you think about the Taliban?
I'm not sure what the Taliban is.
They uphold Sharia law and they defend Islam with force.
I don't think anything should be forced. I'm sorry, even the religion.
They recently
That's in our Quran, by the way. We have
Yeah.
ayah.
yeah, I know.
It says if you're forcing it upon someone, like it's completely wrong in every aspect. It is.
They
wrong
just forced women out of school because they said that women shouldn't be educated.
That's wrong. That's wrong. And the only issue with this is that people start bringing culture and their opinions into the religion, and that's completely wrong. They shouldn't be bringing any of that stuff into the religion, because in Islam it doesn't say that you force your religion upon others.
Wow, I'm surprised. I have been defending the Taliban every day on stream, but
Anyways, thank you so much.
yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
For the good input. It was very interesting.
Bro, is that your first time talking to a woman wearing hijab in your life?
No, are you kidding me, man? You think that there's no Muslim women in America? Like, it's just this whole culture shock. Whoa, your head's covered. I went to school with a lot of Muslims. Yeah, people wear the hijab in school. And
Has anyone ever asked you if you shower wearing it?
Yeah.
They ask you
we
that?
get idiots who ask that. Yes.
Guys, she gets asked that. Can you imagine?
yeah, I wasn't gonna ask that question.
You weren't curious about that.
No.
So you spoke about a lot of things when you were mentioning about happiness. One of them being pushing negativity out of your head and pushing negative thoughts away.
And also using powerful words, because
Yeah.
words have power. Every religion knows that. Everybody. That's what I love about the way that you guys talk. I'm going to say you guys, but like when you say Alhamdulillah, like when you say that, it just makes you feel better. There's certain
good.
words that have power to them. When you say Mashallah, Inshallah, I like these words because there's a
beautiful.
lot of meaning connected to it. I stepped into the prayer room in the hotel yesterday morning, and you could just feel the positive energy in there. I've never even stepped in a Muslim prayer room. I stepped in here, and I was just imagining all the people who were praying, and you could almost feel the words in the air of all the positive things that people were, and how appreciative people were of the world and of God. So it really is powerful, and in a way it's magic. It's hypnosis. It's like it's casting a spell on yourself and your mind and the people around you with simple words like that. It has an effect. If I can say the word brother before I speak to you and you act differently because I said that word, that's hypnosis. So I never allow that. I know with the internet, how much communication that we are used to now, that type of language and those types of thoughts are way more common than they've ever been, especially for influencers and people who are chronically online, which is pretty much like I would say 90% of the people watching. You're seeing negativity more than anybody has ever seen, and it has an effect on you. So there's a couple ways you can go about it. You can either ignore it completely, or you can just realize it for what it is and not let it affect you, and just decide that you're happy, decide that you know who you are, what you want to do, have a clear purpose. And then people who spread negativity, people who go back and forth, people who say nasty things, it has no effect on you because you are secure with yourself.
That makes a lot of sense. But I guess for somebody who's struggling, let's say they constantly have negative self-talk, how do you go about changing that self-talk? Or how do you go about pushing the negative thoughts out of your head?
I think the most important thing is faith. I think it's defining, having clear goals. If you can't see 5 years into the future, then you're going to be very susceptible to have negative thoughts right now because you don't see a clear
You're
purpose.
anxious.
You have no meaning. Nothing matters. If nothing matters, then that's when you allow negativity in your life. You, for example, I could tell that you have very clear destinations that you want to be at in the future. You want to have a family. Like you need to have a definitive path that you want to follow. And if you teeter off that path, then that's when you need to correct it. But a lot of people live very meaningless lives because everything, our attention spans are much shorter now. So we only see 5 seconds into the future, and we care more about attention. We care more about dopamine. We care more about the opinions of others. And that's when you become extremely unhappy. If everything is about for 5 seconds or about somebody, what they think about your outfit, do they care about my hair? Do they care about the way when you're really in tune with those things and you're living for other people's validation, you're going to be unhappy.
Yeah, and I noticed for you, I noticed that being funny is a big part of your brand. You know, your mantra is seek truth through funny.
Yeah.
And where does that come from? Why is being funny so important to you? And why is that? Why do you give that so much importance? Do you feel like laughter is like the best medicine, is like the cure for modern day society?
I think that's true, but I think that's just how I found truth. Mm-hmm. If you cannot entertain, if you are not relatable through humor, if you're not capable of communicating, humor I think is like the most genuine form of communication.
Yeah.
Like all day we went in the sand, and I was with Fresh and Fit, Carlos, Sterling, and we were hanging out with a lot of Tate's team recently. And when the cameras are off, we are blatantly racist, like just brutally, like Fresh is black, and I'm like whipping him with my
goodness.
camera recorder, calling him a slave. And then, you know, I'm half Asian, so he's calling me Chinese and just, you know, saying I'm going to give him COVID. Just stupid stuff
God.
like that. Earlier, he called me Taco Tate, and I just called him the N-word. And the whole van, everybody in the van. I can't recreate it right now perfectly. He like say, "You're Taco Tate," and I said, "You're N-word Fresh," and just saying it like that. It's not as funny now, but like everyone in the van laughed, everyone erupted, but nobody is racist.
Yeah,
you know,
it's different when you're friends, though.
Yeah, you don't hate, but that is the most genuine form of communication, because, you know, I consider all these people friends. I wouldn't do that to a random person. I think that being able to break those boundaries down and communicate based and not care about judgment because you know that you guys are actually friends, I think that that's genuine. And if you aren't capable of doing that, that's why I really am so tired of being around woke people, and I'm glad I'm in Dubai, like away from the wokeness. You're saying it's infecting it, but liberal people are like, no, I don't see color. Color doesn't exist. But it does.
They're oblivious.
You're not. I know you see it. Stop acting like you don't. We know that we are different. Right? We don't need to pretend like there aren't cultural differences. That's the reason that people are interesting to speak to.
But they're just so scared to be like politically correct.
Yeah, there's this blanket covering them of political correctness that keeps them unable of being funny, of being genuine, of having a real conversation, and it's insufferable to be around. Like, stop acting like everybody is exactly the same. Our differences make us human.
Yeah.
Like we were asking the question about the hijab earlier because, you know, and you were like, have you even met one of these people before? Like everybody leads different lives, and your differences should bring you together. If I was exactly the same as everybody else, then
it'd be boring.
There would be nothing to talk about. This is what makes life interesting. This is why traveling is fun. This is why you want to experience new things, experience new cultures, because everybody's different, and we need to embrace that more. It's good.
Yeah.
So be racist to your friends.
You know, I notice when you talk, you use your hand gestures a lot. Is that something you started doing, or is that just natural? Because, you know, it's really good at when you're trying to explain something. If you talk with your hands, it helps drive the message more.
Where you saw that in like a self-help, like yeah, I knew it. I got it.
Tutorial. Is that just natural for you, or did you pick that up?
It's not really that intentional, but I notice when I'm expressing myself honestly, just like I'm just getting it. Yeah.
But it's good because it helps. It's more engaging.
I mean, there you go. I mean, that's part of the mantra too. If I was just sitting here like, yeah, it's okay to be funny because I like to be funny. Next question. If I'm just stiff, like you want to engage with the person around you.
Yeah. Did you pick up on these social things? Do you have to learn them, or did it just come natural to you?
You have to learn them. I came from the gaming world, which is kind of autistic, and I didn't socialize as much as I do now when I was younger. Like when I first started YouTube, I was social, but I was pretty shy, and I didn't honestly express myself to a lot of people. YouTube, now you're like overanalyzing my body language, but I wasn't that social in life and in school, and so YouTube was my way. When I turned on the camera and I was speaking to people online, that was my way of honestly expressing myself. And then when people saw that, they kind of saw me. They saw this persona that created Sneako that became who I was, because I didn't know how to properly express myself and be myself and try to be funny, because I was so afraid of judgment all the time.
Was that because you were different, because you were Asian?
Not even that, really. Like there's so many reasons, but I think ultimately it wasn't because of being Asian or because of other things.
Loneliness.
It was just fear of judgment. I'm being online all this time. I developed this fear of judgment, and I was always analyzing like how people view me. That was a big part of the way that my worldview was created, because I was always thinking, like, for the longest time I didn't have social media, because even turning on like Instagram and taking a picture, it's like, well, I'm only doing this because I'm thinking about how people are going to think about the picture. I'm not doing it because I genuinely like this.
Others.
I'm doing it because I'm thinking about how other people are going to perceive it, which it takes away a layer of the genuine aspect of creating it in the first place. Like we were just in the desert, and then people around, like we were spending more time like picking the song for their Instagram story. We're in the desert, beautiful.
Enjoy the moment.
Enjoy the moment. Like I just hear the background noise, like like just enjoy. Be here for a second before showing people that you're here. Be it in the moment.
That's
and
true.
Of course, I get caught up into it, and now people monetize it and stuff like that, but that was a big
eye opener.
Yeah, that was the way I formulated my worldview. Like, how much are we doing this because we like doing it, because we want to express ourselves, because it's genuine, or how much are we doing it because we want to create
living
something,
for other people.
Living for other people. And I think that's something that our generation is way more accustomed to, especially people calling you the vlogger kid. Like, that's stuck with you.
Yeah,
that's something that other generations have not experienced at all, and it needs to be talked about more.
Yeah,
because everybody's getting into this, and people, I think that's a big leading cause of depression, because comparison is the thief of joy.
True.
And yeah, it can be a black hole of attention seeking.
You mentioned your younger brother. You said that he's 22.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that means you guys are like 1 year apart.
18 months.
18 months. All right, and that's pretty close. How's your relationship with him?
We were best friends for the longest time, and I trust. Well, for the longest time, I trusted his feedback more than anybody's. His judgment, like before, like, is this cringe? Like, just showing him, because your brother is a really valuable, if you're speaking in business terms, is a really valuable asset to have, because they're going to be brutally honest with you. That's the people that you can really only trust more than anybody else is your family.
Is he following your footsteps?
No, we lead completely different lives now. There was a time, we do completely different things, so we don't talk as much as we used to. But I do want to create business with him, and I do want to keep working with him, because if you have a brother close in age, like, you need to, I think it's very important to stay in close contact with them. Andrew and Tristan Tate, they really made me realize how important that is, because a lot of people like, how do you lead lives? Like how do you able to just because Tristan's always around. And if you have your brother around you, like, there's even studies that show like your testosterone levels stay higher when you start to live, when you're in a female environment, if you're around babies and girls and women all the time, you're going to be like, you're going to put on an apron, you're going to start doing female thing. You're going to be, oh, it's okay. Oh, are you okay? Are you okay? And then your energy gets low. But if I'm around my brother all the time,
you guys are competing,
and we're competing, and he's calling me slurs, and I'm being racist to him and stuff like that, and we're doing, he's like, do push-ups right now, and you have to do it.
Challenging each other.
You're challenging each other. I'm not going to tell my wife, do 50 push-ups right now. What? It's a different type of atmosphere. So that's a very important thing to have. But right now we're leading different lives. He's still in school, but.
You told me off camera that you guys are not so close, though. I don't know if you want to get into it a bit.
Yeah, because we just lead different lives right now. Yeah, we're just on different paths. But
it must be difficult for him to see you, obviously, like, reach where you have
in almost the same time?
I don't. That's not what it is. We're just on a different trajectory.
Okay.
You know, and doing this all the time, you become very self-involved. It's hard to. Like, I noticed that just talking to someone else I just did a podcast with him. Like, it's when you're YouTubers are just like, social media people are so like
Jittery.
Yeah, and that's all they think about, and it's hard to and like I saw how jittery he was just on a podcast looking at the car. Oh yeah, all the time. Like, and it's like, bro, I'm trying to like you're interviewing me right now, and imagine him having a conversation like with his grandma. You know, it's but you need to show a level of compassion and. When you're this world is so fast, so when you step out of it, it's you can get wrapped up into it. But that's why it's good to. That's why I'm kind of glad that I got banned in a way, and glad that breaks are very necessary. You need to step out of it sometimes. Go to the real world. Be around real people, have conversations, slow down because this is fast paced. And sometimes like I'll talk to my family and I'm just thinking about like the comments, like, why did that guy say what did this guy say? And like they're
overthinking,
you know, not even overthinking, but just too wrapped up in the blah, 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 blah world on your phone. So it has nothing to do really with like anything that.
Got you.
Yeah, you get stuck into this world, man. But like, that's what happens when you're driven, when you're fully focused. It's even right now, like almost all the relationships I have, we're always making some sort of money together. They're all relationships and almost all conversations I have are transactional in some sense now. There's something that we're both benefiting off of. But with like my family, it's like we're not really. There's no like they don't monetize the conversation with your family. So it's like when you're so used to that, you need to step out of that sometimes too.
You said you were happy right now. Is this the happiest moment in your life, or have there been times when you've been happier? What's the happiest moment of your life?
It's hard to answer that question because what is a moment?
A moment. It's a good question. A moment is basically
because I would say the happiest specific moment if it's like. An hour was hitting 1 million subscribers after it took so long on YouTube, but then I lost the channel, so that moment's gone. And you could say
but that moment exists.
So how long is a moment? Because like being in the desert today in Dubai,
it can be however long you want it to be. I think a moment can be for 1 second, it can be a day, it can be an hour. I don't think it's defined by exact time. It's just like
that was still that moment, like when I finally hit that after.
After all the years.
Yeah, being called cringe for so long and the doubt.
I guess when you hit 1 million, that's when like you've made it. Like you know that this is what you can be doing.
Nah, I didn't even really. It was a lot of it was the relief because I was at like 950 for so long, and I had like 900 for a long time. It was just fine. Like I finally did it. Like no one could really. I guess in a sense, that in a way, it's like I made it.
Yeah. What about your saddest moment? What was your saddest moment? Getting removed or no?
The saddest moment. You asked me this last time, and I didn't really have a clear answer.
Did I?
Yeah, you asked. So it's hard. Like saddest moment in my life, like maybe when a relative passed, but saddest moment in my entrepreneurial career was. Actually what it was?
What?
It wasn't right when I got banned. It's when I came back from Romania, and I was in my apartment, and this is kind of melancholy. I have this deep artist thing in me because I kind of treasure those sad moments. When I have moments like that, I'm like, this is what life's all about.
You feel like you're in a movie.
Yeah,
you're looking out the window and a sad song is playing.
It wasn't that. You know what it was? I just got terminated, and my dad was saying, like, could you find all your old videos? And then I had to load up my old computer because I just had a new computer, and I was looking and I was trying to find the old videos. Damn. And I was looking through and like not all of the videos were loading. Damn. And then like a lot of them were gone, and I was thinking about all those lost memories. I started reflecting about all the time I spent into this, how they took it all away, how I'm probably not going to find these videos anymore. And I was just looking through my hard drive, trying to collect memories.
Years of videos.
It wasn't even videos. I was in that. The reason it was like the most melancholy, sad moment was because I was looking for memories that in that moment, even though I found them, they're all in the creativity kit now. But in that moment, I'm like, all these memories are gone. Like all
It was
this
like
time.
a part of you had been
Yeah,
gone.
it was like because memories are what makes you who you are.
Yeah.
You're just a collection of memories, and a lot of it was documented online for so long. That's what I treated it as. At that moment of looking through my hard drive, and then like I can't find it, and then calling this, and then plug in the other hard drive. It was kind of dope. That was like a movie scene, like trying to. It's like if someone trying to repair a broken relationship. You're trying to put the pieces together, but it's just not working.
Yeah.
But that was cool. I love moments like
And
that,
your-
man. I
did-
like
did-
to feel.
Did your
like
dad
that.
look at you and did he say like?
No, he wasn't
I told
there.
you
He was
so?
just on the phone. I called him up like, do you have a hard drive? And he's
okay.
like, I can't find these videos. Like, did you try this one? And I'm looking through it, and then I found like snippets of old like the B-roll that I shot, or like a folder
And you're like,
of the audio but not the video. And then I was like remembering all the all-nighters I put in, all the time I spent, all this energy that I put into one thing, and it was not about the money. It was really just about expressing myself. And I had an online diary, and then like it's gone. That's when it really set that it's gone. Even though it's not, it's on the creativity kit. But in that moment, it's like,
You thought it had gone.
huh?
You thought it was gone.
I thought it was gone, yeah. But that was cool.
Yeah.
I love that.
What about like you said you wanted to be a YouTuber? Who did you watch growing up that made you want? Like, who was your inspirations?
It was all of them. I think the biggest inspirations were Nigahiga growing up. I don't
Oh
even
man,
Yeah.
that guy was funny.
Nigahiga, Kev Jumba. I watched
Nigga, man, he has those videos like where he used to do all those puns.
Yeah.
That used to always get me.
He was
those
really
funny
creative
videos.
with it. So
But he kind of fell off.
yeah, I mean, he does a podcast now. I don't know if he
saw it.
fell off. He just stopped doing the
I like
videos.
parkours. Remember parkours?
Yeah, hardcore parkour. Yeah, that was so funny. Like he was extremely
He can
creative.
make anything funny.
He inspired me. Like he added a bunch of like singing skits. There was comedy. There was different camera angles, like just stupid
Super
things that you could
creative.
do with the camera. He really revolutionized what you could do on YouTube.
I think he went through some kind of depression though or something, no? Like where he took like a big time off and
See, this is the problem, man. Like you know what he
Same
talked
thing
about
as
a lot?
Robert
He used to
Atwood.
talk about ADHD. He used to have this show where you talk about off the pill, and he would just talk about his mental health for a while. I think if you start believing that you have mental health problems, that's when you're going to have mental health problems. If he had never, I don't think he ever should have said that I have ADHD, and for a while he made me believe that too. But they said the same thing. I said I have ADHD. I don't believe it's real. And my life is better like that. I'm never going to have to, and I don't want to disrespect therapy. I don't want to. A lot of people do need it. A lot of people who are traumatized, therapy is genuinely necessary. But my point in talking about this is that mental health is talked about too much. It's better to not talk about it. It used to be something that people were embarrassed about. It used to be something that people kept secret. They're like, I'm working on it. They wouldn't want to tell people. Now people make it their personality trait. Nigahiga made a whole show about, I'm off the pill. I have ADHD. People put it in their bio on Twitter. Depressed with 2 stars, like ironically calling themselves depressed. They make it who they are. And that's going to make you even more depressed. It's better to go and try to not even imagine that as a possibility. Man.
yeah, definitely you should not put depressed in your bio. But I think to discuss mental health is maybe one of the good things that's happening now. I feel like if like Andrew even talks about it.
I don't think we should even frame it like, let's discuss mental health. I think you should go a step deeper and figure out like what are your mental health, like what's causing you to even think that you have mental health problems. It's never something that you just catch from the sky. There's always a reason. There's something that's not right in your life. If somebody who's completely happy and there's no trauma and everybody, they're not going to have random mental health, anxiety problems, stuff like that. There's a reason you have anxiety. You have a lack of control in your life. Something is making decisions for you that you are not comfortable with. Something is happening that
no,
you
let's say
can't.
if you went through let's say you went through an incident where something really bad happened. It was nothing you could have done to control it. Something extremely bad happened to you. I think for that person,
Yeah, of course.
can talk about it and with their
Yeah.
friends, they can discuss
But
it
that's
with
not
them.
who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Like I've been on Haram Tinder a little bit while I'm here. Like girls will like be like, I'm depressed. Like
Yeah.
it's
No, that's
quirky.
dumb.
Like you didn't go through any
became a trend,
real
basically.
trauma. It became something fun to add because they have nothing else to their personality. So of
That I
course,
agree
real
with.
trauma is a problem, man. But
That I agree with.
don't make it define you.
Yeah, that I agree with
It's
for
gonna
sure.
make it worse.
If you had to pick one YouTuber, one person in the space who you feel like would become a billionaire, who's most
Mr.
likely to become Mr. Beast?
100%.
Yeah.
I think he almost already is.
Yeah, he got offered $1 billion for everything. He said
Yeah.
no. I think Iman Gaji as well. Iman Gaji.
He's close.
With the software company that he's doing, like that's like a real like 9-figure play. I think that's really sick. And you know him as
Do you
well.
think this is stupid?
I did a podcast with him.
You did?
Yeah.
Let me ask you something. He just
I don't know
arrived
why.
here from France, and I'm deciding to go to dinner with the girl instead of Iman. Do you think that's a stupid? But he's like, hey, do you want to meet up for
Yes.
dinner? I'm like, got a girl.
No, I think you should definitely meet him, bro.
But he's the type of guy
I
who's gonna
spent
wanna
10
come
minutes.
with-
I went for dinner with him one time, and he's like, "Bro, next week I'm about to make 6 M's." And you know when you're having dinner with someone, they say that you really start thinking about your life differently. You know that uncomfortable feeling you're telling me about. Like that's I really felt that moment.
felt
like,
inferior.
I really felt like I'm not doing enough. And
You gotta
that's
step your
good.
game up.
And that's the biggest. If I could attribute all my success to one thing, it would be hanging out with the right people. Whenever I've tried to hang out with, like, let's say older people, like, for example, more just people in general that are older than me that are really doing well in life, it's really like put me in the right mindset.
You can't help but be successful if
Yeah.
you're around all successful people.
Yeah.
If you're around all Fortnite players, you're going to play Fortnite. You know,
100%, yeah.
you just slip on a million. If you're around a bunch of millionaires, like, oops.
Honestly, this can be that easy sometimes. So how was it working for Kanye West?
That was very mind opening, and I had been thinking about it a lot, man.
Does he have something wrong with him, or is he
no,
completely
he's
stable?
fine. There's nothing wrong with him.
Okay.
That was because he was so analytical, and I could tell he was judging me so much and analyzing my behavior a lot. And
how
to
did
this
you
day,
contact him? How did he get in touch with you?
through Milo and Milo Yiannopoulos. He was a former campaign manager, and he knew about me from Nick Fuentes. He streams on cozy.tv/Nick.
Okay.
America First. It's just like far right politics, people who want to bring Christianity back. Nick Fuentes is pretty funny. For example, he thinks that all the Christian, he really admires the Taliban and Muslim culture because he's like, all the women should have burqas here. That'd solve all the problems. I think a lot of Christians who are actually Christian are, in a sense, envious of how strongly Muslims hold on to their faith, because like it's just falling
Well, tell me
apart.
about Kanye West. Did he interview?
I'm getting to that. So yeah, that's how I got aligned with them, was talking to these people, because Kanye West is also far right. So, but working with him, like, because of course it was for politics for Ye24, but he has a creative mind, and he's just like, I could tell like every second I was talking to him was like a test. And so to this day, I think about it constantly, like what he said and everything that I learned from him, and our interactions and stuff like that, and what I learned in the brainstorming sessions.
What was the best thing you learned from him, like during that, or one of the things that stand out?
The best thing I learned from him was he saw me as a social media, like in the beginning, like I made a really good impression on him, and then as I started getting more comfortable and being, not trying to like impress him, he saw that I'm like a social media guy, and that made me realize how much that can define your personality and be off-putting to people who don't care about stuff like that. I mean, of course, he's a master at garnering attention. Yeah. But it made me step back a lot and analyze how much social media has affected my personality.
Yeah. So he didn't like that you were a social media guy, or like?
No, but just certain things he said in conversations, like, that was kind of cloudy of you. Like clouty, like, and I was like, yeah. At first, I'm like, no, it's not, because it was not for any reason that would make sense to you right now in this conversation, but it was just like the way I said certain things. He's like, that was a cloudy thing to say, and I've been thinking about it since then, about how it was, and that's made me like rethink my view of the world, and also like, look, going back to my philosophy of how people view you, and how living for other people's validation, and thinking a lot about that. I think he picked up on that very quickly.
Yeah. How do you set your mind free?
You stop caring.
Yeah.
You have to stop caring about. You have to stop caring what people think about you.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest one. Of course, you have to like present yourself in the best way you can in order to have the best opportunities.
Good reputation, and
yeah, you have to. In every aspect of your life, it's better if you present yourself in the best way.
I guess you can do the best you can, and then outside of that, if they
Also,
still don't
getting
like
canceled sets you free.
Yeah.
Because then you have to stop caring like about if they think you're misogynistic, racist, homophobic, all this nonsense.
Nothing they could do anymore.
It doesn't really matter that, like, if you embrace that, that's a big one. But freedom is about being free of judgment. At least that's where I see it right now.
You seem very confident. is that, or you seem actually very comfortable, like you really love yourself. How do you garner that self-love? In a good way, I'm saying. Like you're comfortable in your own skin. You seem like you're the type of guy, like yourself.
Not completely. Right now I saw your eyes linger over here, and I was wondering if you saw that, like I picked my nails.
Yeah.
That's what you were noticing?
I used to do that before. I recently quit.
Yeah, I saw you dart your eyes to there, and then I put my hand here, and then I started covering it. And that's me not being comfortable in my skin.
Yeah.
So I do this when I'm thinking a lot, and so I itch it, and then I didn't want you to keep looking at it, so I just hit it. So that's literally me not being comfortable in my skin. If I was completely comfortable, I would have let it hang.
No, but I mean, like, you seem like you love yourself. You have a good relationship with yourself in general. Whether you do something like this is like a small coping mechanism, but ultimately I feel like you do have a good relationship with yourself. How do you build that self-love? A lot of people, they don't have this kind of, like, they could not just sit here and talk, you know what I mean? Or like, I've witnessed you around other people. You seem like you're happy with who you are, and how do you garner that self-love is the question.
I think it's a combination of a lot of things. I think it's a compound effect with everything in your life.
Yeah.
Doing the right thing, having the right relationships, being proud of your work.
Yeah.
Not letting a lot of people have control over what you do. Having good finances, everything set up correctly. You have a good future ahead of you. It's everything in life.
Yeah.
If you're anxious or if you're overthinking about other things, like if you don't have running water, then I'm not going to be that comfortable in social situations. I'm thinking about how am I going to go and drink water before I sleep tonight.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be fully present.
Yeah.
The best way to love yourself and to be confident is to be able to be present in the moment right now. And the best way to be present is to be secure in every other aspect of life. And so it's a compound effect. It's not one certain thing. You have to do the right thing over a long time, and then eventually you'll be in that place.
Yeah. And do you pick all your fingers or just this one?
Can't believe you noticed that. People usually just look away from
I
that.
used to do the same thing before. Then I stopped.
I've been doing it my whole life, and I don't think I'm going to stop.
But it's better than the nails. Do you do the nails as well?
Yeah, mostly my cuticles. It's something that I'm not conscious of. Like I just do it. I'm not even thinking about it. It's become habit for my whole life.
I used to do it here, and then I quit because it was noticeable. So I started doing it. The weirdest thing, I started picking my heel. I don't know why. Yeah, like
because they can't see it.
Yeah, so I used to, like, at night, like I'd be sitting at home. It's always at night, you know. After a long day of, like, you're at work or now you're at night, you're just sitting down. I'd just be like, I don't know why. I used to do
It's
this
an
thing.
anxiety thing. You're thinking about your day. You're thinking about
It's
work.
called dermatillomania when you peel your skin. Dermatillomania. It's like you take out your kind of frustration on yourself.
I think it's just called being a bitch. Like I would just be picking the shit.
Yeah.
Ideally,
I stopped, bro. It's only you still doing it.
Yeah. Well, you do your heel. Weirdo.
No, I stopped that as well now.
Oh, you stopped?
Yeah.
Okay, then I need to work on it. I'm doing it right now. It's just force a habit.
You'll quit eventually.
A lot of it
But at
helps
least
me
you're
think.
conscious of it.
Huh?
See, some people are not self-aware about their traits. At least you understand.
Oh no, I'm very self-aware. It used to be so bad. Like before I would start a soccer game, I used to play like a pretty high level. I would be doing it so much that like by the time the referee blew the starting whistle, it'd be bleeding and I need to wipe it
my
somewhere.
God.
And so like the game would start and we're running around and I'm just like wiping it on the inside of my shorts. So
Especially before a football game, you must be very nervous.
No, it's
So
like
that's
literally on the field, like
Yeah.
we're playing and then we're passing the ball and I'm just like wiping it on the inside of my shorts. And then I'll look at it and there's all these marks. It's just disgusting, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, I need to.
We should make a football game while you're here. The tattoos, do you care to explain them? Did you get all of them at the same time?
No, I need to get one once a year. I missed 24 and I think I missed 23. I got this when I was 18. This is Runaway, the song by Ye. And it's like my favorite album. I got this when I was 19. This is Haiti, the Zoe.
You're
the Haiti flag.
You're half Haitian.
Yeah, my dad's from Haiti. This one I got when I was 20. It's Filipino flag. My mom's from the Philippines. Got this one when I was 21. Have this giant scar.
Oh, it's kind of the same as like that one Andrew has.
Yeah. No, I got it first.
Oh, okay.
No, I didn't. I don't know. I mean, before, whatever.
Yeah.
But I had this giant surgery scar right here. You see that? So I'm like,
Yeah.
let me get a dragon coming from the scar.
Oh, it actually goes perfectly into the thing.
Yeah, that's-
Show it like this camera.
Yeah. So it goes from the scar into the dragon. So I'm like, look.
Why did you have the scar?
It's just stupid shit, man. It's like a giant surgery.
Okay.
This one is it was my logo on my clothes.
So
for a
basically,
while.
none of them have any real meaning. It's just like, I'm joking. I'm just messing
Well,
with you.
yeah. I mean, this one for a while, I kind of go back and forth about evolution.
Yeah.
I know that religious people don't believe in it, and I've been talking a lot about that. But when I see videos of monkeys and gorillas
Yeah, I
and the
know
way
what
they
you mean.
interact and their facial expressions, it's hard for me to believe that we didn't come from them.
Yeah.
Like if you just look at any videos and their body language and their
Yeah.
facial expressions and the way they talk to each other.
feel
It's
you.
like these were the same.
Yeah.
And so this one was like a
I've met some
reminder.
religious people that say that one good point they make about evolution is they say if we were evolved from monkeys, then how come we're not evolving anymore? Like how come the human is basically the same right now? It's been for why aren't we becoming like evolving continuously?
Yeah, because
How
maybe
do we
there
stop
was
here?
one tribe of monkeys that was more developed, and then they separated and left the jungle. But doesn't mean that all of them have to leave. I'm not gonna go like a whole evolution thing right now. But this one just like I got as a reminder. I was taking a lot of psychedelics at the time, like to act based on our biology. Some evolution garbage, but I like it, and I like
Yeah.
monkeys a lot. I kind of look like one.
Yeah. Do you
Yeah.
have a lot of close friends? How many what's your circle like? Is it many people? How do you select your friends?
I mean, I have a lot of friends from back in New York, but it's just we
I
live-
mean close friends, like real friends, not acquaintances.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like my close friends are in New York, but we don't spend as much time together anymore because we just have lead different lives. They have their own jobs, their own girlfriends. They're in New York. I live in Miami, so it's
Yeah.
just. I would say that those are my closest friends, but I don't see them as much anymore. Obviously, I would say I spent a lot of time with the Fresh and Fit guys, and now I'm at the point where your friendships need to have some sort of mutual gain, like because when you want to be this successful, you need to be doing something. Like what are we going to be doing together if not working?
Yeah.
Are we going to be hanging out playing Fortnite, or are we going to be
Wasting time.
traveling the world doing podcasts together? Do we have the same ideology? Do we have the same mindset? Do we believe in the same things so we could talk about the same things? Like the friendships I have now, they end up falling into my lap because we're working on the same things.
I feel you. What do you think is the biggest challenge facing humanity today? One.
The biggest challenge facing humanity. I was about to say wokeism, but that's pretty specific to the Western world, and it alienates a giant portion of the world that has nothing to do with that. But there you go. I mean, look, wokeism might even start World War III. Zelensky just announced that he might declare World War III if China joins Russia. And I think that they use the woke ideology to get people
I
supporting
don't think he
Ukraine.
can start World War III though himself.
Yeah, it's not really himself. There's the Democratic parties
Yeah.
involved and NATO, the globalist agenda. But I
But they're
see
not part of NATO. Ukraine are not part of NATO.
Yeah, but NATO supports the war in Ukraine. They're a big reason why the arms industry is right there. Like
Okay.
why they're putting military bases in Ukraine.
Okay.
And they're using the woke ideology to support a lot of this globalist agenda. So I would say the virtue signaling and the wokeism and how people are manipulated based on that ideology. They think that they're being good people, but they're just using your empathy against you in order to have ultimate control.
Makes sense. All right. How do you make more money?
How do you make more money? You scale. This is what I learned from Mr. Beast. Once you have the systems in place and once you learn how to develop your own business, you need to be able to go and delegate those roles to other people so that it starts running on its own. It becomes a machine. Once you learn, like for example, I'm a former YouTuber, and I make a lot of content, stuff like that. Once you master editing, you know how to hire different editors. You know how to get a cameraman. You know how to put people in place. You know how to hire script writers. You know how to get copywriters for your email system. You know how to create a course in order to help other people. You have to create the systems. Like once you master the skill, delegate it to other people. That's the best way to scale up. That's how CEOs become successful. That most of the CEOs, most of the people who run big tech, they started in a garage in college, and then they started having factories, bigger businesses. Mr. B, same thing. Started making Call of Duty videos, then hired a couple employees, hired a couple more, started making these videos in different languages. You start scaling up in every single aspect possible, and you focus on the vision. If you're the one developing the vision, and then you can give the roles to other people, then you will surpass other people and you'll make more money.
You still talk to Jimmy, Mr. Beast?
Not really, no.
Zero.
Not really, no.
Never just like call them like Jimmy. How's it going?
Hey, Jimmy.
Hey,
No.
Jimmy.
It's been a while.
Yeah, but you guys have a good relationship. You wish him well.
Of course, yeah. I mean, we still follow each other and stuff like that, but we're just different paths.
Yeah, you need to make him red pill.
I think he is red pilled.
Yeah.
That's the truth about a lot of YouTubers. A lot of them are
Behind the
red pilled,
scenes.
and they just know better than to talk about it. They prioritize.
They don't know better.
No, they do. A lot of guys do know better. I'm gonna tell you, especially about like when it came to the
that maybe.
a lot of YouTubers, trust me, they are red pilled about this, and they would rather not talk about it and risk their platform. It's smart, but also it's a little bit disingenuous that they know that it's going to hurt people, that they know that their audience could do better with that information. They choose to not even speak about it. They choose to keep it private because they don't want to get canceled.
How do your parents feel about how much money you make? Is that like a big shock for them?
No, they don't really speak about it that much. I want to get to the point where I want to buy them a house. I'm
Yeah, that's
very
gonna be
close.
crazy. Me too.
I'm going to do that this year.
Nice. That's sick.
I want to retire.
What did your
my-
dad do for a living?
My dad, he works at a software company, I think you could say.
Oh, tech guy.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. Do you get some editing advice and stuff from him growing up?
No, he knows nothing about editing really. But he's an artist at heart. He's a photographer. I have a lot of his photos in the background of my stream. If you notice, like I have these red paintings, these like rust. People think that they're paintings, but they're actually photographs of rust that he took. The guy's a very talented photographer, but I mean he works full time at a software company. But that's what he's really
What's the
talented
best
at.
lesson he taught you?
The best lesson my father taught me.
I'm asking you some difficult questions. I know I'm putting you on the spot.
Yeah. I think that the part of me that was feeling melancholy about the videos being lost, I learned that from my dad. Is like a misunderstood artist, like deep kind of guy, where he likes to feel things in order to fully experience them. Like instead of letting the moment pass, instead of going on your phone, instead of coping, go through it and experience it, because that's what life is really about. I think my dad told me that.
Nice. Basically, live every small moment and
Not
appreciate the
even
small
live
things.
every small moment, but I think especially the ones that make you uncomfortable and the ones that make you sad. Go through it because you'll learn something from it. And in a way, those are some of the most beautiful moments in life, because you feel sad because on the inverse, you feel happy most of the time.
Yeah.
So you should appreciate moments like that because it
Character
shows
building.
you the balance of life.
What about your mom?
The biggest lesson from my mom that I learned.
Is your dad in the Matrix, by the way? Sorry to ask. Because you kind of mentioned like he has like a 9 to 5 and like software, like, you know, big company.
It depends
Cog
on
in
what
a
you
wheel.
mean by in the Matrix. I mean, look, his response to that would be like, "Oh, you think that messing around with all these, you think that that's outside of the Matrix?" And it's like, that's a good response. So I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, there's some ideas and some things that we disagree about politically that I would say online to a lot of people is inside of the Matrix, but it really depends on how you define that.
Yeah.
My mom, the biggest lesson I would learn is to be more empathetic, which I think is a lesson that people learn from their mothers a lot. I learned compassion from her, and I could definitely work on
Who are
that.
you closer with, your mom or your dad? Are you a mommy? You seem like a mommy's boy. No?
I would say I was closer with my dad growing up.
Oh, okay.
It was hard to. My mother and I, we disagree about so many things, and everything that I've done in life, the path that I followed, is not what she expected or really wanted from me. So we found it difficult to relate in that way because she had an idea of what I should become,
A vision.
and I rejected that pretty much completely, like from a very young age. So we didn't see eye to eye in that sense. Of course, she supported and wants me to be happy and stuff like that, but if she would have it her way, I'd be a doctor probably, or I would be working a 9 to 5 and not being loud and abrasive and known for controversy and stuff like that online. I wouldn't be a polarizing internet figure.
feel you.
I would have I'd be more quiet.
Yeah. First 3 practical ways that someone watching this right now could go ahead and improving their lives, like improving themselves. Sorry.
Gym every day is the first one. If you don't know what you want to do, wake up in the morning, go to the gym. Number 1.
I
2,
agree.
have a clear purpose, and I think the best way to do that is to have some sort of faith. Praying to God every single day has made my life extremely, has just given it another level of meaning. The third one to improve your life is stop caring about what people think to that level.
Nice. So, do you journal? Do you
No.
ever journal? Never?
I journal ideas down for videos and mostly ideas, but I don't document like that. If I'm writing something, it's with a direct purpose
Yeah.
in mind.
I think for me, I have like 2 parts in my journal. One part is like mental dump, which is basically like thoughts that are going in my head,
positive, negative, mostly like negative, like kind of like ranting or venting. Because they say like a problem well stated is half the problem solved. You know, sometimes if I were to give you like a normal math equation right now, it would be hard for you to calculate it in your head unless you wrote it down. And sometimes we have like these really complicated situations with like all these different variables involved. And until we write it down and look at it objectively,
Yeah,
it's
it
very
becomes
hard
real.
to...
It's actually physical when you write it down.
Yeah.
It exists.
Exactly. And the second part is the gratitude journaling. Like, and I think if you pray a lot, you tend to become more grateful. Because when you're like, let's say for the gratitude journaling, so many things happen to us in one single day that we should be more grateful for, but we don't realize. And the key, and I kind of learned this from Hamza, by the way, but actually the key of, because he talks a lot about gratitude journaling. Basically, when you gratitude journal, obviously a lot of the, for like, first of all, after some time you kind of run out of things that you could say. Like you'll start with the most obvious stuff, you know, and you have to write like long sentences. For example, I'm grateful for my shower because when I go inside I get hot water on demand, which is kind of rare. And when I get the hot water, it makes me feel relaxed. And when I'm relaxed, I get better ideas. And when I get better ideas, I can earn more. And now every time you look at your shower, you look at it in a different way. So if you write long sentences like that, it really makes everything around you look like it's a big blessing, you know? Mm-hmm. And over some time, you kind of run out of things to write. And then you're constantly just thinking about what should I write tomorrow. And that's the exact mindset that you need to be in at all times. Because like if you're going about the day just looking for things to be grateful for, you know, so your brain is like looking for them,
You
seeking
appreciate
them.
life more.
Yeah, and you're like seeking them, you know. Like if like right now I'm sitting with you, I'm constantly thinking about what should I be grateful for, you know, like this relationship, or the fact that we're doing this podcast right now,
The
or
fact that you don't pick your heel anymore.
yeah, or the fact that the weather is good, or you know, a million different things. So, and then the third benefit is like if you ever have a bad day, then you go back to the notebook and you have like 10-15 pages of just like
Stuff that makes your life better.
So for me, that was like a big thing. Just getting that on paper, just awareness, you know?
That's a good idea.
Yeah, nice. Anyway, so I think that basically wraps up this video. Would you care to give any last words to anyone watching?
Rumble.com/Sneeko.
Of course,
and
check him out there.
thecreativitykit.com. That's where
Thecreativitykit.com.
have not just content creation. I know we were speaking a lot about
Tell
content
us,
creation today.
what can we learn about on the Creative Kit?
You can learn about e-commerce. You can learn about starting a marketing agency. You can learn about web design
Wow.
and editing. There's a lot of different professors in there right now. I want to add a copywriting professor. I think that's the new drop shipping.
Copywriting. You know what's interesting?
Don't tell everybody that though. I don't want to be a ton of copywriters out there.
It's gonna be in the video.
Too bad. Yeah.
You know what's interesting though?
What?
When AI was coming out like 1 year ago, everyone was like, "Oh, AI is gonna come out, and all you guys, like, you guys are gonna get replaced. Whoever's doing anything that's like boring." But AI came out, and it's actually taking away all the creative jobs. Like they thought it was gonna take away all the ones that
The
don't
menial
require.
tasks,
yeah,
yeah.
you know what I mean. But it actually came out and started writing essays and stories and,
drawing.
copywriting and
Yeah.
drawings, like art. Because the artists thought like we're doing graphic design. How is AI gonna do that? And now it's like making pictures of like things you never thought you could imagine in real life. You know. So it came out and shocked everybody that's actually doing the creative jobs. It even does copywriting to a certain extent.
Really?
Yeah.
It's good at it too.
I mean, obviously, you need to be subjective. So I think there's still room for copywriters out there. But yeah, it is pretty decent. Like I've seen some pretty good copy from it. I've used it in some of our websites.
And there's also a crypto professor in there. I forgot to mention.
Oh,
that.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
And I think the biggest selling point is how strong the community is and how many like-minded people who want to make it out, people who want to hustle and become digital nomads, people who want to make money online, how many people there are in the same place like-minded.
Yeah. How much is it to enter?
$50.
Nice.
$50 a month, which I think is honestly a steal. A lot of people like the fact that I'm in there once a week. It's just scheduled, but I'm in there almost every night, and you could talk to me directly, ask any question you have directly with me for $50. I think that's a lot of people would pay a lot more for that.
Sick. Amazing. All right, man. Thank you so much for your time. I really
Thank you for
appreciate
having
it.
me again.
It was sick. And guys, if you watched till the end,
Good questions, man. This
thank you
is
so
good.
much. I tried. Sorry if I put you on the spot a bit. There's
No,
some
I like
deep
that.
questions.
I like that. Hard-hitting questions.
Yeah. I hope you learned something from this video. Leave a like, leave a comment. Check out Sneeko on Rumble and the Creative Kit. I was gonna say all over other platforms, but it's pretty limited.
Instagram and Twitter. Yeah.
Yeah, Instagram, Twitter, Rumble. All right, guys. Leave a like, comment. Thank you for watching. See you.